It is a great pleasure to be joined by President Peña of Paraguay. Thank you, sir, very much for giving us the time and for giving us your country to the World Rally Championship. What an incredible event we've seen. We are Saturday night, still a day to go, but we would like to just rewind a little bit and just tell us from the start what appealed with the World Rally Championship. Why was it? Why did you want to bring the series to your country?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be with you, and we are so happy to host a stage of the World Rally Championship here in Paraguay. There are mainly two reasons. One is who we are. Paraguay has a great history, 500 years of history, the clash of two civilizations, the indigenous Guaranis and the first European who arrived in 1537. Paraguay became one of the most strongest country in Latin America. And then we face a war of extermination. In the year 1864, we went to a war against our neighbors, and that stopped the process of development of Paraguay. And from then on, we started rebuilding the nation. One of the, and this goes with our history with motorsport, we have a very large part of the country, which is the Chaco. And in the year 1971, a group of Paraguayans decided we need to go to the Chaco, we need to occupy the Chaco, and they found that a good way is to take motorsport there and do a competition. So there are more than 50 years of hard work in the motorsport activity, so there's a big fan base, there's a big base of a very large base of drivers and organizations. So there are many aspects that in the case of Paraguay, we are a very strong candidate to host this event. The other one is we have a say that Paraguay was the island surrounded by land. Nobody knows about countries that are isolated. Paraguay was very isolated. So since the beginning of my administration, I tried to put Paraguay on the radar, to put Paraguay on the map. And this applies to the relations that we have from government to government. The other one is hosting a large sport event. We did that with the Pan American Youth Games. We did that with other major events that we are promoting. And of course, when I had the chance to understand that there was some conversations between the local promoter and the international promoter, I said, count on me from the side of the government. We want this to happen because we have very strong foundations. We have a very good driver base. We have two drivers who are competing in WRC. And we have the aim to show Paraguay to the rest of the world. So I'm very happy how it went over the last 2 years on the organization of the event. And of course, this weekend is just amazing. And I have no doubt that a lot of people who is hearing for the first time, they're getting the right impression. Because in the past, they didn't have a very good impression about Paraguay.
Yes, we met you for the first time in Finland earlier this year. It was tremendous to see somebody of yours standing in another WRC round in another nation. Finland is kind of regarded as a best practice for WRC. How do you think, 2 days in, how do you think your Rally del Paraguay, how's it comparing to Finland?
Of course, Finland has a very long tradition. They have been hosting for 75 years the WRC, and they have an excellent tradition with drivers. I found a lot of similarities between Finland and Paraguay. They have this very strong agricultural base. 30% of their economy is forestry. Paraguay is expanding on forestry. And it's amazing. I had a chance to visit the farm of Tommy Mäkinen. And he has cars and he has trucks. And this is very similar to what we have here in Paraguay. Paraguay is a food basket. We are a very large producer of food. So it's very easy for you to go in the countryside and find tractors everywhere. And those who run a tractor will fix a motor, and at the same time they would like to also have a race car. So I think that what took 75 years for Finland to be at the top of all the events, world event, I think that Paraguay can also be in the same group of countries that are performing very, very high in organizing this event. Again, I think we have the right scenography. The country is just beautiful. We have the right attitude. The Paraguayan fans are people who are very committed. with safety, which is a very important issue over the last 2 days. And prior to that, we have insisted so many times that security is a priority, that the success of the stage in Paraguay will be that no track is suspended because some concern on security. So far, this has been applied like this. So absolutely, I have no doubt that this will be a very high reference for countries in Latin America and other parts of the world too.
That was the next question, was just a word for the organising team here, because you know, Team DirtFish here, we travel around the world and we see the stages, and Colin and I, when we saw the stages and the infrastructure that you put in to keep the fans safe, to put the spectators in the right place, it was incredible. It was as though you'd been doing it for years. I mean, what have you got? Have you got some words for the volunteers?
Absolutely. First of all, we involve people with experience, and there is a lot of experience. Here in Encarnacion, they have the Transit Apua every year, which is a stage of the South American tournament. So they are very used to organize this type of event. So we have been also teaming up with the Touring and Automobile Club, and also with the drivers who have been participating a lot. This is a very large effort. From the side of the government, of course, the police, the military, public health, everything that is related to the roads, we work it a lot. And we just built a national team. So we put everybody behind the national flag, and we work it all together. And we understood very early in the beginning of the planning that this is not something either for the government or some group of fans following motorsport. This is something that should be national pride. This should be the opportunity to put Paraguay on the scenaries for everybody to see. Not only Paraguayans, I mean, we have been surprising a lot of Paraguayans who never visit this part of the country, who are now understanding the richness and the wealth that the country has. And of course for all the people outside of the country.
Yeah, now quite often we see senior politicians in countries come and they flag away the cars at the ceremonial start and then they disappear and we don't see them again. We saw you in a race car with Sebastian Ogier on Thursday, we saw you at the ceremonial start, we see you here tonight, sure we'll see you tomorrow. You've been out and about, what are your impressions of what you've seen?
I commit myself with the promoter at the beginning that I will make sure that this will not only be a success, but will be one of the best stages in the world. And I put myself at the front of the organization. I surrounded with a great team. A lot of people has been involved, but it's easier when people realize that the head of the state is responsible on this. So all the institution has collaborated, and I think this was great. I practiced sport from the very early. I represented my country as a player of rugby in 2 Junior World Cup. So I understand very well the importance of sport and how this can shape the personality of a person in the future. So I'm a big fan of sport. I'm a big promoter of sport as a public policy. I don't see spending on sport as spending. It's an investment. We just concluded 1 week ago, the Pan American Games, and everybody's recognizing that Paraguay has the best Olympic park in Latin America, and we are very proud the work that the athletes are doing. So we're just expanding this, and again, the history of Paraguay is so rich. We used to be called the mother of all cities, because in the times of the colony, 300, 400 years ago, all the expeditions to found a city were departing from Asunción, our own capital. So it is just amazing, and it's a history that people is now beginning to understand, and of course to recognize. The awards are going to be for the winners. It's going to be granted tomorrow in one of the Jesuit missions. This is a place where Jesuits settled in early 1700, and they created a very homogeneous population with a great sense of determination. So this is what Paraguay is, and we are very humble, we are very welcoming people. We're just asking the world to discover this hidden gem that has been hidden for too many long.
And it's such a spectacular backdrop for the Power Stage. We had a look ourselves, fantastic. but you have taken the interview in a very different direction. Rugby. Tell
Yes.
me, which position did you play?
I play as a flanker, locker. It depends on what were the strategy that we are competing. But yes, I practiced for many years, and it's at the core of who I am. And rugby gives so many lessons for those who have practiced, understand. For many, it's just a sport that have a lot of contact, but it's truly a gentleman's sport, and I really appreciate the teamwork. Never run to the back, always go forward.
Look after each other.
Look after each other. So it's just an amazing sport, like all the sports. And I have no doubt that the same apply to the youngsters that are driving a karting, and they cannot rely only on themselves. They need to put a lot of effort on what they do, but you also need to have to rely on the mechanical, on your parents, on the people who are surrounding you. Yeah. So for any sport, it doesn't matter if it's a collective sport or an individual, you need to rely on a team, and I think this is great.
You are talking to a lifelong Bath fan, but we must move on from rugby and get back to rallying. South America has a tremendous heritage in rallying, Argentina, Brazil, Chile. How proud are you that now Paraguay is very firmly part of that?
We are very proud. We are very proud because we are receiving a lot of people from the region. I have a chance to be on the tracks talking to many of the people coming from Ecuador, from Bolivia, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Uruguay. And they are really amazed. They are really amazed with the organization. They are very enthusiastic. And I always said that organizing a nice event, it has not to be very expensive. You just need to put a good team and coordinate all the efforts. So I think that Paraguay could also be a very good example, because I have to acknowledge that organizing this event has nothing to do with the amount of money that we put, and everything to do with the commitment and the hours that we put. So I think this is also an example, because when you are trying to promote an activity in your country, and I talk to other presidents, and say, no, but that's too expensive. I don't have the resources. No, it has nothing to do with the resources. It has to do with understanding what this will do to the grassroots for young drivers who are going to be seeing these idols that they used to watch only on TV, and now they are able to see them here in their own country. And of course, what it's also doing for national drivers. Fau Saldiva, what it's doing to Diego, someone who is driving all over the world and now has a chance to drive at home. And both of them are driving also with their fathers. Their fathers are also driving. So this is going to be an experience that is very hard to quantify in terms of money, but have no doubt that we are aiming to follow on the footsteps of what Finland has done. I have no doubt that Paraguay will become a permanent stage on the WRC. We are working to do that. And of course, we have to also acknowledge that with more events, this will increase the participation of local drivers.
Yeah. So. You mentioned them there, and that's the next point, really. There's Aldivas, the Dominguez's. How important is it that you have a WRC round here now, but maybe now you need a WRC driver at the top level? Is that important?
It's ultra important. It's very important. I think that one of the main reasons why we decided to push so hard on this is because we are seeing a younger generation that is defying all the odds. It's not common. You see where kids like Fau and Diego has come out. Or Joshua, we have a driver in F2 and who is very close to get to Formula 1. And they come from a very small kart track with not many infrastructure. And so bringing all the good drivers and the top drivers here to compete with them in Paraguay is an extra incentive for them to continue to pursue. And again, for others who are also thinking that maybe they should try also in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the sporting side is crucial, but also economically. This is huge for the Encarnacion area. What does it mean to the local area and to Paraguay economically?
It means that it's going to work as a magnet, because we're having teams, drivers, tourists who are coming for this week, for the event. But I have no doubt that the aftermath, the reaction of many people, will put Paraguay on their map. We have to acknowledge Paraguay doesn't come on the top of the mind when someone wants to travel and discover something new, right? I have no doubt that after this event and the great visibility that the media has given, like yourself, this is going to come up now as a destination, a tourist destination for many people. If you look on the other side, we have Argentina. It's Posadas. It's also a very important city. Everything that we have done, we converted a small local airport to an international airport, now receiving direct flights from Buenos Aires. We think that we're going to start having also flights coming from Brazil. So this is going to give a very nice city. Tourists are going to come all over the year. I mean, next week we have an Ironman event here, and I have no doubt that this will be a center of different events, not only World Rally Championship.
Now, Colin and I were flying home on Monday. We won't make that mistake next year. We're staying on for a few days. There's so much to see in the country. But I understand that you introduced legal change to bring these kind of events. What can you tell us about that?
Yes. One of the things, we start implementing public policy, not just isolated initiative. This is hosting the WRC is not something that is isolated from a strategy. The strategy is to make Paraguay a center for events, sport and business events. So we line up several events for the coming years, and for all of these events, there is always certain requirements: immigration, taxes, legal status. So we decided to bring all the state of the art in terms of international legislation, and we approved this. The first event that we hosted under that condition was the FIFA Congress. It was hosted in May of this year. It was the first time in the history of FIFA that a country that is not going to be the host of the FIFA World Cup was hosting this event. We hosted more than 200 nationals, more than 2,000 people. It was a big event that we hosted. Then we hosted the Pan American Games. Now we're hosting the WRC. In 2030, we are going to be hosting the FIFA World Cup. Paraguay, together with Brazil and Uruguay, will be hosting one of the inaugural games, celebrating the 100th anniversary of the first World Cup that was hosted in Uruguay in 1930. So this is part of a strategy that we are promoting, and it positions Paraguay as not only one destination, but the best destination to organize events.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now this dream weekend has to come to an end. On Monday morning, we'll be sitting on aeroplanes writing about Paraguay, talking about Paraguay. Monday morning for you, Mr. President, what does that mean? What does that look like?
We wrap up on this event. I'm looking for lessons that we are learning, things that could be done better. And of course, we start clicking on the clock for next year. We're going to be stronger, we're going to be better, and I have no doubt that next year is going to be even better than this one. So I have no doubt that people will live with a very sweet flavor of having been here in Paraguay. But our objective is that we can double the attendance next year, that we can have more people coming. There was a lot of uncertainty because it was quite a challenge for everybody. You're going to be Paraguay able to manage the sports side, is going to be able to manage the hospitality, is going to be managed to make this an attractive event. And I would say that so far we can say that we can check all the boxes. But of course, with this performance this year, the expectation next year is going to be even better. I have no doubt people is talking now they are regretting not coming to the WRC. They're going to come next year, so we have to be better prepared. And of course, trying to work with our local drivers and promote the participation of more local drivers. I think that one of the greatest advantage that we're going to have is that Paraguay will be a stronger candidate on all the South American stages. So I think that this event is giving a boost for young local drivers to take the chance and follow the dreams of being a high competitive driver.
Were you surprised at the numbers? I mean, we didn't really know what to expect, but and as we drove around on Friday, we thought, well, where are the people? The roads were empty. It's because everybody was regimented and in the stages.
Absolutely.
Did that surprise you how many people came?
It's not a surprise for me, and I have to recognize we are still not managing an accurate number. We're trying to figure it out with tolls on the road and passes on immigration. So we are thinking about at least 250, 300,000 people who were on the tracks, and they follow very strictly all the security measures. This is absolutely amazing. I was early this morning in one of the tracks, and when I drop off the helicopter, people start yelling. I approached to them and I said, President, we are all patriots because we take care of the country and all the security measures because we know how important it is. So what happened, I think, this year is that people who came to the Rally of Paraguay, they were already rally fans. Yes. They know the rules. This is people that prepare ahead of time. The challenge will be next year where people who is not used to these rules, they need to follow. But it was so great that this new wave of fans were the ones who were more acquainted with the rules. So because they are the ones who are gonna also safeguard. It's not gonna be only the volunteers of the police, but it's the people itself. One of the examples is that in one of the events, apparently people was trying to move a little bit the lines, and there are other people who said that please don't do it. Please don't do it. So I think when you get to that point, that's very encouraging. That's very encouraging. So if you ask me, are you afraid that next year you might have doubled the people, 500,000 people? I'm not afraid. Because the first time it was very important to prove that we're going to follow the rules. So I think that next year is going to be even a greater event.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. President, we've seen you in the co-driver seat.
Yes.
with Tommy, with Sebastian. I'm not sure if you know, DirtFish is the world's best rally school, based out of Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. We would like to invite you.
I would love to.
We'll take you from the co-driver seat. We'll put you in the driver's seat.
I'm not sure I'm going to be that good. So
that's what we're there for.
But I'm always willing to take some risk.
It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I wait to see you next year.
Absolutely.